Good morning and afternoon. It's Wednesday, 9 a.m. Pacific. Welcome all to the 10th episode of the Sharing Show in 2021. I'm Kane, and today I'm joined with David, better known as the Workday Sharing Guy, along with Christy, Teresa, and special guests.
Okay, Kane, I'll do the voice here of the purple squirrel. What's the most important thing about the Zoom chat?
The most important thing about Zoom chat is that when you are sending your chat message in, make sure you select all panelists and attendees. That way, everybody on the show, plus everybody else who's watching, gets to see the question, and it enforces the sharing aspect of the sharing show. So with that being said, over to you guys.
Okay, Christy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Sherry and Eric, keep an eye on the chat. So go ahead. Let's go through this one.
So to test the chat, let's put a 0 for this refers to vaccine management. Put a 0 if you've not started. 1, no, but you need some help. 2, almost there. 3, yes, all set. 4, what is vaccine management?
Okay, and Sherry and Eric, I'm assuming by now there will be very few 4s, a lot of 2s and 3s, but you guys watch as we keep going. Okay, so a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hi, everybody. David, the sharing guy. I'm going to try to go fast. We've got some special guests here today. Well, several special guests. So I am no longer a Workday employee. I was a Workday employee 14 years ago. And so what you see here on the sharing show, it's not representing Workday in any way. That's my handshake agreement with Workday to make it clear. You know, this isn't representing Workday. We're all representing ourselves. This is not free training. This is just customers sharing with each other. So I'm on a mission to help as many Workday customers as possible, which means I highly recommend the customer sharing movement, and in particular, the weekly Wednesday sharing cafe, which we just finished. We just finished this sharing cafe, and it was focused on payroll. The next week is Thanksgiving. We're taking off. We've got Bert, Ox, recruiting. We've got a winter break, and then we have room for another topic: the future of work, women on Workday, and contingent workforce, which is something I want to point out is that the Sharing Cafe now has a sponsor. So thank you, Utmost, for sponsoring the Customer Sharing Movement Sharing Cafe. Let's move over to LinkedIn. Please get on LinkedIn. I know some people don't have LinkedIn. You think of LinkedIn as just a place to network if you're looking for a job, but there's a lot going on LinkedIn. For example, the post here for the Sharing Cafe. This is, I don't want to steal any thunder, but I do like numbers, as some of you might know. So I happen to see a 432 on a famous post here. But I do want to point out also a nice little discussion about somebody made a comment about my hair. It was politically correct, but still I needed to point out that we must have misspelled the word hair on the shirt. Okay, what else do you see on LinkedIn? Well, somebody said nobody is ready to share the information. I couldn't help. I've got, okay, how about this? A Google search for Workday sharing, right? I mean, hi, all sharing fans, the customer sharing movement. Nobody's ready to share. Try just Workday and sharing, and you'll see plenty of people are willing to share. There's a whole movement going on here. So sorry, Rajana, or however you pronounce your name. Hopefully you're now here during the sharing show, or at least you see there are a lot of us willing to share. What else will you see on LinkedIn? Well, who's educating you? Well, I put up what I think is a funny video. Anyway, could I train Kiwi the cat? Well, this all has to do with not necessarily training, but learning Workday. So if you're following me on LinkedIn, you'll see like, what's 2 to the 10th? Well, what does that matter? Well, 2 to the 10th is 1,000. And if you do 2 to the 20th, it's 1,000,000. And I was able to describe to my 15-year-old daughter, this is like a KB or an MB, or today she knows more about GB on videos. But it turns out there's something here actually for nested calc fields with parentheses. So all this stuff is on LinkedIn, including people joining the Workday Alumni Customers and Friends Movember team. So there's like this social and networking aspect. So what is Movember? I do need to take a full minute and breathe and then just make sure everyone understands. Last year, the goal was 100 members. We got half the way and that was it. So what are we doing this year? Well, we're almost halfway. What I said on the 11:10 reporting share-a-thon is to encourage people to join. It takes 5 minutes. What does it cost you? Nothing other than an email. And then you just join the team. If you're a Workday alum, a customer, or a friend, which I think everyone fits into one of those categories, you could join this team and make it to 100. The way I said it though is 2 years in a row. I'm okay not setting a high target and not making it, but not making it 2 years in a row, that might cost me. And let's just get there. Please join Movember, join the team. Here's my promise. If we get to 100, maybe somebody in the chat can help, right? So go to Movember.com, right, to answer that. And search for Workday alumni, customers, and friends. And there's just a button that says join this team. It really is that easy. Anyway, if we get to 100, there will be a sharing show season 4. That's the way I'm going to say it. So back to you, Christy.
Who's up next? I'm sorry. Who's the next up on today's fantastic lineup sharing fans?
Next, we have Gwen from Wisconsin. Welcome, Gwen.
All right, Gwen, we have special music for you for your intro. Okay, that was just a cell phone. I'm joking.
I don't want to sing, David.
All right, Gwen.
Everyone, my name is Gwen. I'm from Wisconsin. I am a customer. My modules that I work in are typically payroll, absence, time tracking. So PAT, if you've ever heard that before, and more. I've been a configurator for about 5 years. And before that, I was a CUE user. And I said, I want to get in Workday. So I want to chat about end of year processing. Some of the players in end of year processing are the benefits team. They're responsible for overseeing program and time away changes, notifying us if anything big changes. Do we have a new leave? We need to know that. What's starting, stopping, and any tweaks, changes. HRIS team, that's me as a customer. I'm responsible for any configuration that's not an integration. The integrations team, they're responsible for updating integrations to and from vendors for claim changes. Payroll is our man of the hour. They're the big dogs. They're responsible for auditing, correcting past data, actually running payrolls, and then creating and auditing tax documents. If you're in the United States, W-4s. If you're in Canada, your Canadian tax docs. Then our tax vendor, they're a small player, but they're still very important. They're responsible for actually paying tax authorities and making sure that we're providing correct tax data. Not everyone uses tax vendors. Some people do. So how to stay organized. Not everyone has to do this, but weekly meetings with your configurator. Keep a checklist with assignees and due dates, and then regular biweekly meetings for maybe a month or two, just to make sure that everyone's on the same page and everyone knows what they're supposed to be doing.
So the regular meetings with the entire group, the group you're talking about are the people here, the players, right?
Yes, you got it, David.
All right, here we go.
So then actually getting to our checklist, first thing you need to do is prep. We need to know what's changing for the year, any early testing that you have to do. Maybe government things are changing, such as 401k limits for 2022. So first we want to do prep work. Next thing we want to do is actually doing your tax documents and actually doing config. Do benefits changes need to actually happen? Do you need to do anything there? Do you need to actually adjust any inputs? Do you need to make a corrections in any sort of adjustment run? 941 tie-out, that's huge. That's something that the payroll department would typically do, confirmation with your tax vendor, then actually creating your W-2s. Once you've done your W-2s, you need to provide them to your folks. So print them, stuff them, send them to a vendor, whatever you have to do to get them to your folks, and then as needed, W-2C processing. I hope no one has to do many of those. So join us in the payroll breakout room. Ask questions, share your thoughts, experiences. Let us know what works well for you and what doesn't.
Okay, so Gwen, you just did a full hour with a bunch of us on in the Sharing Cafe.
Yeah.
So we'll go straight from there to here. Is there anything from that sharing cafe that you want to share before we move on? Anything you learned or feedback for those who happen to miss it?
Yeah, so I will share. I've actually never received a paper W-2 myself. I've always wanted to receive it through Workday, print it out myself, because it costs money to print and mail these W-2s. So this year, I'd actually like to do a test run to see what our print, we have an internal printer that does this for us. It's almost like outsourcing it. I want to see what it looks like, because some customers, they have to print and stuff, and if they're sending out a few thousand W-2s, that's a pain. So I learned I want a paper W-2 this year.
We're almost there, in approximately 20 minutes, we'll get to the breakouts. So thank you, Gwen.
Great. Thanks so much. Who do we have next on today's lineup of sharing fans?
We have Eric from Florida. Welcome, Eric.
Hey, thanks. So real quick, before we get started in this, we have a Boomerang blog that you can reach out to the Boomerang team from. Also the teamupboomerang.com, and the Boomerang blog URLs right up there at the top. You can see some of the stuff we've posted, especially around vaccine records, and you can reach out to us for additional help.
Okay, so Eric, it's the Boomerang blog page is boomerang.blog.
Yes, boomerang.blog.
Got it. And I see a couple blogs here. Well, this one says supporting vaccination records. I'm assuming that's tied to what you're about to share with us, right?
Yes, and the PowerPoint that I'm about to present is attached to that blog if anybody needs it.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
This is a screenshot from Workday community. It's a little dated because they're constantly updating this. This is a really hot topic, but these are the 4 methodologies of tracking vaccine data with existing HCM functionality. They are going to be coming out with something supposedly in December, built into Workday that will do it. And you can also use a couple different extend solutions. But if you only have HCM and you don't want to wait until their update in December, these are the ways you can do it. Custom objects, either effective or non-effective dated, the request framework with a questionnaire, and then a survey. And I want to focus on the custom object effective dated and the request framework. They're the only 2 of these 4 that allow you to have an attachment, meaning somebody has uploaded a picture of their vaccine ID card if you want to track that. Now, the custom object effective dated will allow you through a business process to send that document to worker documents. But if you've used the request framework with a questionnaire, because of its flexibility, it does not allow you to send that to worker documents. It just stays on the request. And you can have a custom report based on that request added to the worker profile. But if you want the additional security of having it in worker documents, that's what I'm going to focus on here, is how you can use a Workday Studio Boomerang to take that file from the request and copy it into worker documents. Here's real quick screenshot, the vaccine request. This is a custom report that somebody had created to show that vaccine card. And then the next slide, you'll see the documents, the worker documents is completely empty. So what I did was I created a custom report on all requests, and I pulled down all the pertinent data I need for that to get the data for that document, the employee ID, the actual image, the base 64 image data, the file name, things like that. And then the next slide, this is just a screenshot of the studio stuff, how it'll appear in your tenant. When you run that, it'll take that. Now you can see that document is in worker documents. Pretty straightforward, runs very, very quickly. I ran it for one person. It ran in like 15 or 20 seconds. So if you have thousands of employees, maybe it would take 15 minutes to run. It's very easy to do, and I'm going to dive into the technical details in the breakout. But that's pretty much it. If you're using the request framework and you want to have it in worker documents, I can give you the solution to do that.
Okay, thank you, Eric. There's a couple things I want to do, and we're going to do a little bit more on vaccine management, separate from the fantastic Boomerang that Eric just showed with you, which is some news. For those who were part of season 2 of the Sharing Show, you might know, even in season 1, we did a Workday 200 challenge. And the person who won the Workday 200 challenge, it was her birthday when Workday crossed over 200. So we've kind of turned it into, well, just let us know your birthday. And if Workday breaks through 300 on your birthday, you win. Of course, some of you might be new to this. You win an Apple Watch. So turns out on 11/12, Workday broke through 300. Now, Workday didn't close over 300 at that day, but we'll take a closer look here. So it was, a friend of mine just recently said that on 11/11, I think he had friends who got married on like at 11 o'clock on 11/11 or something. So on 11/12, it was almost exactly 11:12 a.m. when Workday broke through 300. Okay, so what does this mean? Oh, guess who gets to go through a lot of emails and try to find whose birthday was on 11/12? Oh yeah, okay, you guessed it, that's me. You don't have to guess in the chat and win an Apple Watch. So look, if your birthday is 11/12, put it in the chat because maybe I missed the email, but I probably didn't because if you look how I did a Google search, I searched only on November, and sorry for all the blue, but you know, I didn't want to reveal people's emails that showed up here in my Gmail. So several people actually had birthdays in November, and the winner, if you're here, is on the left. Congratulations for having your birthday on November 14th, which is the weekend right after the Friday. So that counts. So VJ, if you're on, say something in the chat. Now, VJ, if you're not on, it means you didn't know how to do a Google search for the sharing show and you missed it. So next up is Michael. Your birthday is the 15th. Oh my gosh, somebody's birthday is the 12th. Okay, just happened to see that in the chat. Okay, if your birthday is the 12th, anyone else put that in there. This is in case VJ never shows up. And then Michael, you got a shot at it as well. You guys might not be here. It's like, are you, do you have to be live to win? We'll get to that. Okay, so by the way, these were entered July the 10th, 2020. So it's over a year ago. I don't blame you guys for not remembering. You know what, you guys? We actually have a special guest. Before Dawn, we've got a special guest, Sherry from Minnesota.
Please join us on community.
Thank you, Sherry. Happy 4 digits to you. And
Yeah.
then, so I think Dawn put a link already, maybe in community. So the Q&A, that's about to come up. Sherry, fantastic having you on here. Thank you. Of course, you're staying in this room here as we get close to breaking into groups.
Teresa, who do we have next on today's fantastic lineup of sharing fans?
Next, we have Dawn from Georgia.
Welcome, Dawn. I do want us to first say, I want to appreciate a whole year of collaborating, networking, and sharing. So go ahead and tell people what's going on here, Dawn.
Sounds good, David. Thanks. I'm very excited that I actually got to meet David in person in the last week or so. And after a year of collaborating online and obviously all the great networking and sharing, it was really great to see him in person. We had dinner, and then it's wonderful to see the reception that we had on LinkedIn and our sharing of our photograph. And actually, when I recently checked this, it's had actually over 25,000 views. So I think that just goes to show the power of networking and sharing. So great to be part of the group.
Yeah, Dawn, actually, since we're talking about numbers on this show, I love the total number of likes, celebrations, love, support, 432. Yeah, this says over 22,000. So it's up over 25,000 now, huh?
Yes, keeps growing. I love it.
Well, okay, let's keep going here.
So excited, we've got our December networking. It's the first Thursday of the month. You can find all the details and registration on community. We have over 50 topics. We keep adding and editing based on your feedback. And complementing the discussion today, there will be a vaccine management room. So if that is a hot topic for you or a colleague, be sure to have them sign up and join us on December 2nd. And then I would just like to share some of the feedback that we get. So from last month, one of the questions asking about really the value, what did you accomplish? So here you can see where people are learning about features that they own, but they aren't currently using, or they want to know more about a feature so that they can optimize it, learn about something they don't own, but perhaps are kicking the tires, and look at that, learn about potential solutions. 70% of the respondents click that box. So I think that's very powerful. And of course, always being able to help someone else is really important in the sharing and networking movement.
Okay, Don, I'm going to go back to this slide and point out just that for almost all of those 1 year of working together, I was doing calc fields. But right above calc fields in the upper right is 2 other groups. Eric, who was on this show, does the Boomerang integrations on the technical side, and I do Boomerang use cases on the non-technical side. So I'll be doing Boomerang use cases again on December 2nd. So thank you again, Don.
Thanks, David.
Now, what we're going to do here is, because of Don's influence, instead of just the sharing show, you've got chat, but that's it. Now we open it up. We have different Zooms. Movember, this is a co-ed health focus for both physical and mental health. Make sure everybody knows it's not males only. Rules about the breakouts. Everybody talks. Nobody talks too much. The networking starts with putting information in the Zoom. If you want just your first name, but what really people want to do with the networking is LinkedIn profiles, your email, if you're open to getting emails, because people will email you. All right, Kane, it's time to wrap up, and then we'll take everyone off mute.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Christy, Teresa, and special thank you to our guests for speaking on the show today. As always, we'll publish this recording to our YouTube channel. Please head over, like and subscribe, and you'll get notified when new videos are published. I'm going to end the show out. As a reminder, we'll come back for the networking session. But all that's left to say is to everyone, have a great workday.